August 5th, 2019 is a big day. Our show has been created. The title of the show is Scott Bunn, Putting You in Your Place. And there's, I've been searching for the name, and I was driving down the road, listening to some music, and it all of a sudden hit me. A lot of people are going to be concerned with the name, and they're going to think it is too aggressive, but we believe in it, and we're not asking for permission. We're just going to go be successful with this name, and we're really excited to get started. Today, I've got my media guru, Sky King, and we're just really, the first episode here, we're still debating it, but we're done debating it in private without doing anything. We've collected the equipment. We have this makeshift studio here in the back of my real estate office, and we're just going to sit here and try to format this show to have some consistency, to use other shows out there as an example, and to create something that we can get behind and create good, thoughtful content at least once a week, if not once a day. We really want to get this thing to a daily piece. So, a couple of my ideas, just looking at other shows and just things to rip from into creating consistency. I like the Tonight Show, the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show.
Yeah, sure.
So you've seen that?
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen it.
All right, so every Friday he does the same thing.
Right.
Thank you letters. And
it's all derivative of David Letterman. He's the one who started the whole talk show thing. The late night talk show was all him.
Right.
And everybody else has kind of copied from him and taken inspiration from him.
Exactly.
Like, some people have done a really good job with it, like Fallon and Colbert and all them. So.
Yeah. And our premise is always going to be, well, who are we putting in their place today? And that's not a derogatory thing. That can be like, we can highlight somebody. We don't have to always, it's not a negative context that we're going to be putting people in their place and they've done something wrong. It's to commend some people. It's to like champion their thing, their platform, like helping them grow type thing. So it's not just like, oh, we disagree with that, so let me put you in your place. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be politically driven, even though we might talk about some political items, or shout out something that we disagree with. It's not going to get crazy political. So like, it's not going to be that type of show. So let's just forget about the cameras.
Sure.
And just really just hammer out like, the opening of the show, like the content of the show, like introducing guests of the show, like when that's going to happen, like bringing people in, like, having them like, we're creating like our version of a Hollywood show, right? Mm-hmm. So, to produce our theme song or something like that, just so we can kind of boost you up and get your content driven to some people that might not ever hear it. We would be open to talking to you about that.
Yeah,
cool.
That sounds good.
So from there, as far as the content we're going to talk about to begin with, debating who we're going to be putting in their place, with the guests. So today, we would be talking about, who can we put in their place and how is it relevant to something that you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we bounced out the idea of photography, or media, and what I've got a big problem with, and what one of my big goals is here. One of my big goals is to level everybody up. I want to produce and help people become an elite real estate agent, or content producer, or whatever it is. I'm trying to help people level their game up. And one of the things that I see that just drives me crazy is someone that is a real estate agent trying to take their own photography, number one, and taking it with their iPhone in an incorrect manner. Whatever the ratio is, they're holding it straight up and down, and they're holding it like this, and they're supposed to be holding it like this. Yeah. Like landscape versus portrait or whatever, and not editing the photo, and it's just really bad. So, help these people with editing tips maybe, or so we want to put the real estate agent in their place that are taking their own photos in an incorrect way. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Okay, cool. So let's just talk about who's influenced you, and who have you researched and tried to copy your style after, with just proper strategy going into the house, right? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, as you know, I'm currently going to film school at Virginia Tech, and they teach you a little bit about photography, but the difference between, say, real estate photography and just kind of general video work is that with video stuff you can kind of be expressive, and you can kind of cheat the rules a little bit. If your camera's kind of sideways, and hey, why is your camera sideways? You can just kind of blame it on being artistic and say, oh, it's a Dutch angle. Did that on purpose, right. Just trying to make it look good. Yeah. Whereas real estate photography, there's very much a right way and a wrong way to do it. And if you give these photos, you deliver them to your client and say, hey, here's your pictures of your house, and pictures are skewed or that sort of thing, they're going to tell you, they're going to say, what the heck is this? Yeah. Do it again. There is very much a right way to do that. And the first, I'd really say, the first place I started looking for instructions was YouTube, just because YouTube is just this huge plethora of information that anybody can reach out to. There's lots of photography blogs, that sort of thing. There's a book that I found through a photography blog called Real Estate Interiors, which is a really good place to start if you want to do your own photography. A little bit more advanced than just iPhone shooting and that sort of thing. Yeah. And
we'll try to link that stuff. The things that he's discovered, we'll try to link that stuff in whatever platform that you're finding us on. We'll try to give you this information so you can go and do your own research on these platforms, because subpar photography in the real estate game is going to damage your brand. It's going to damage it. When I can come in and show perfect photography versus someone that does subpar photography, they're coming my way every time. It's a differential point. What separates me from everybody else is the thoughtfulness and the care and my aggressiveness to do everything that should be done. So the small things, just showing up every day, and making sure that things are done properly, and photos are number one.
Oh, photos are so important. I think more and more people are kind of shopping for houses the same way they shop for things online. They might go and they might see the house, they'll have it appraised, they'll do all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, when they go home to their house, they're sitting at home on their laptops, and they're looking at all the pictures of the houses they saw that day, and they're saying, okay, I really like the kitchen in this one, but if the pictures of this kitchen make this kitchen look better, they're going to lean towards that one. Not only that, if you're trying to sell a house and your pictures are really kind of slapdash, kind of thrown together, they're not even going to want to see the house. Because everybody checks the internet first. A lot of my friends who are buying houses now, they told me that when they were working with their buyer's agent, most of the houses they saw, they told their buyer's agent about. They had like alerts from Zillow and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then their agent took them there to see it. But the houses they didn't go to see were the ones that, didn't look good because of the pictures.
Yeah.
It was the pictures that really decided whether they wanted to bother to take the time to go out there and see them. So if you don't have good pictures, nobody's seeing your houses.
Our job is to create urgency. As your sales professional, we've got to create the best story with the best photos that get people to react in a manner that they feel like they're going to lose. We are a very emotionally driven consumer here in our area. Here around Southwest Virginia, Blacksburg is where we're located. People tend to go and purchase based on things that they might lose out on. Urgency. Coupon cutting. This is the script I go to. We're very coupon cutting type of consumer. When the deal is a good deal, we go and we buy it. If we don't think it's a good deal, it stays on the shelf. So when the package isn't pretty, you're going to get less money than you possibly could get with a better looking package. So just like look at your own consumer behavior, and when you see photos that are a different aspect ratio every other photo, it really damages the package. So what I've tried to create is something that looks shiny, that's not dented up, and that's on the right shelf in the right eye line, so the consumer goes out to that product first. That's what me and my team try to do.
Scott's right. Half the attraction of buying a product really is the packaging. That's why companies like Apple spent so much money in the beginning when they first started putting out iPods on those like beautiful packages so that when you bought it, you really feel like you were opening something special. And that's why everyone else is copying them now. Nobody just has like little cardboard boxes. They all have those nice like Bristol board packaging is what it's called. Presentation really is everything, and real estate is no exception. You really have to do the same thing.
All right, so again, we're putting the real estate agent in their place that is still shooting on their iPhone. Look, we get it. Sometimes you can't afford the freelance photographer. They do charge a lot, and sometimes you just need to get your product on the market. You need to take the home to the market as fast as you possibly can. So really, I think what we need to do is maybe do a tutorial of how I would shoot an iPhone. Take you through the house and how I would shoot with an iPhone. And the post, you can still edit on the iPhone. If you can't afford the freelance or in-house media person that can go out and take your photos for you, which there is cost associated with that. But again, all right, off topic. I'm going to just kind of interject here on my own thought. If you're not, all right, we might have to edit some of this, but anyway, there's a saying that goes, if you don't have an assistant, you are one. So that's really important. Like, if you're not a photographer, don't try to be one. You gotta, or at least take the time to be thoughtful and go learn about it, which is the point we're trying to make here. But iPhone allows you to edit the photo. There's filters, there's color differentiating colors that you can kind of move back and forth with. Like, we should really show you guys how to do that, and I'm going to do that in another video.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much us shooting on the real estate person trying to take their own photo.
You want to maybe talk about some of the mistakes that we think that real estate photographers might make, or real estate agents might make when they're doing their own photography?
Yeah, it's like the whole 2-wall thing, like some strategy going through the house.
Okay.
Yeah, so how to make the space look bigger and that type of stuff.
Okay, so the first thing, the biggest mistake I see real estate agents making when they're taking their own pictures is they want to show as much of the room as possible. So they stand in the back and they get a picture of like the left wall, the center wall, and the right wall. And you really don't want to be doing that, because if you can see 3 of the 4 walls, the person looking at the pictures, they know exactly how big the room is. The best method, at least the one that I've been taught, is called the 2-wall method. You're specifically kind of want to make a diamond shape. You stand in one corner, and at the center of your screen should be the opposite corner, so you only see 2 walls, right? And the reason you do that is it's kind of an optical illusion. It kind of plays a trick on people's brains because the walls extend past the edge of your frame. They don't actually know how big the room is because those walls could go on forever. Obviously, when you take the picture, you take it in such a way so that the wall ends just beyond the edge of your frame. But because people looking at those pictures can't see the edge of those walls, they think, oh, those walls must go on forever. The room is really big. And obviously, consciously, they don't think that, but it's just kind of this thing that happens with people's brains where they can't help but think that the room is bigger than it is because they can't see the edges. So that's the first big tip, is that you really just want to get 2 walls, not 3 walls.
And we're not really trying to manipulate the situation where, we're trying to portray something that's not reality. We just leaving some things to the imagination. We want people to call. We want people to be excited to come to the home to actually see it live. So that's a part of the storytelling aspect of it all. And the strategy behind that is to make the space look as real life as possible.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you get the 3rd wall in there, it shuts everything down. It actually makes it look smaller than real life.
Yeah, because cameras aren't like especially phone cameras aren't like our eyes. We have like really wide visibility. We have like really good dynamic range. We can see really bright stuff and really dark stuff at the same time. Whereas cameras can't do that. So you kind of have to cheat the camera just to get the same look that your eyes are seeing.
So the terminology there, and if you dig down into it, is we're trying to give you a true to life experience. And the only way to do that is to position the camera in a way that would leave the imagination open to a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. And it's not that we're trying to like cheat anybody by showing them something that's not there. Obviously, they're going to show up and see the house, and if it's something totally different than what was in the pictures, they're not going to accidentally spend $150,000 on it and regret it later. You don't want to like make it so exaggerated or so spectacular or anything like that they come in and say, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah.
That's not going to help you, and that's not going to help your reputation. You just want to take the best possible photos you can of what is actually there. So, yeah, true to life is very much what we're shooting for, if pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Next thing I noticed a lot of real estate agents doing wrong when they take their own photos is they take them in the dark. Like, they'll turn the lights on, but they'll keep the window shades drawn, and that's a really big problem because even though your phone will artificially brighten the image, it's going to introduce this stuff called color noise, which is basically like the sensor. It sees just a lot of black, and when it brightens it, there's like these little dots of like color noise that get intensified. What you really want to do is you want to open up all the windows, because when people look at photos online, they really want to see like a well-lit area that's super crisp and super clear. And if you're shooting with like the shades drawn and just regular light, you're not going to get that. So that's the second thing I'd really recommend real estate agents do, is just get better lighting. Just open up every window. If the door is out of the shot, like the front door or something like that, you can open the front door too. Yeah.
Cool. So I mean, that's good stuff, man. That's really good stuff. I feel like the 10 minutes we've been shooting on this, I think it's very very valuable to the people that would stumble across our content. If there's any questions that you have for Scott or me about this, just link down, comment down in the section that would allow for that. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever we're putting this, if it's allowable to comment, any questions, just let us know and we'll jump in there and help you out further. All right, so we're done with that little section. The transition period between the content that we're delivering versus kind of how we continue the show. What do you think? Like, this would be a great time to run an ad. Mm-hmm. Hey, we'll be right back. Boom, and like a 5-second YouTube ad, or like,
assuming we introduce the next topic first, because we've got to make them want what's coming next.
Oh yeah, right. So
stick around, because next up we're gonna have blah 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 blah.
Right, gotcha. So we have nothing really to deliver on that right now. Realistically, like episode 1, we're just trying to debate this and have the cameras rolling. So like future content. Right, future content. I want to get my lender in here. My primary referral partner when it comes to like lending and talking. We've had this discussion in private. Mm-hmm. Have some entrepreneurs come through. Mm-hmm. And kind of maybe deliver that questionnaire or something like that. Like have something that we can start like thinking on and like preparing for, and that type thing. So we need to look at like how other shows have done that, like the Joe Rogan show, like how he gets his guests and how he has things to talk about for an hour, you know. So that's really interesting as far as like trying to create this thing and being able to deliver on like whatever schedule we set up.
Right.
You know, do you have any ideas as far as like the second segment of putting you in your place? So like we just finished the first, right? So how would we transition into maybe like a second type of like entertaining type of, you know, like almost wrapping up the show almost?
Maybe something that's just topical, like for example, what was it? The festival that was just downtown this week.
Stepping Out.
They did a really great job this year. I had a lot of people, friends, tell me that they were going and they haven't been in years because it was a lot less corporate. It was a lot less. There's no political stuff there at all, from what I heard. It was very much about building community. It was very much about like.
So there was they were denying people that wanted in to push a platform, right?
Yeah.
Like political affiliations, gun rights, like all that stuff. They were just turning those people down.
Oh yeah, no, it was all about kind of trying to help local business owners and local craft makers and that sort of thing kind of come out and get their name out there, so that people could give back to the community and they could meet people locally that they might not otherwise meet. Excuse me.
Yeah, we should probably try to schedule around like going to some of those events and doing some work during those events to get like B-roll type stuff, just so we can kind of, you know, highlight some things to do around the area too, for other things, you know, maybe besides this. But yeah, that is a great little event.
And also talk about like the touchstone things that just happened in popular culture is Avengers Endgame just became the best-selling movie of all time.
Wow. Which,
regardless of how you feel about Marvel movies or if you've got superhero fatigue or if you love them, you gotta admit that's pretty significant. That like there's so few cultural touchstones that everyone experiences, but that's one that I think is like touching everybody. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody's excited about it. So that's really cool.
Right. So we got some debating to do on the second half of the show. I was just racking my brain on like things that I think that are funny that, you know, like this morning at the gym, you know, seeing people do things out of the way at the gym, like having a segment of, you know, like if we do a Wednesday show, well, it's you know, etiquette in the gym, like putting you in your place at the gym, you know, like everything's going to start with putting you in your place, you know, that type of thing. So putting you in your place at the gym. Half repping, you know, like not doing a full range of rep, you know, like half repping, you know, and like, you know, just trying to like educate people that are in there, like doing too heavy a weight and not doing a full, like the guy was literally like, I think he was on the row machine and he had like 3 plates. He had like 3 plates on the row machine and he was doing this. Like you know, like you need to go full range of motion to actually complete a rep. Like so just some silly stuff like that.
We could just talk about like 2 or 3 things like that, and then that could be like, oh, maybe like we'll get someone hinting that we might either for Stepping Out, oh, we'll get someone local for that, or maybe for like the gym thing, oh, we'll get like a personal trainer for that or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So like the end of like one episode is kind of like the beginning for the next, kind of, or at least like foreshadowing or, you know, introducing the next.
Gotcha. And we need to, I guess we need to be consistent on our time. Like we need it, like everybody's show is either, you know, a 20-minute show or a 47-minute show, you know, that type thing. Runtime 30 minutes with a couple commercial, runtime 47 minutes with a couple commercials, you know, for an hour type thing. Or, you know, Joe Rogan, I think he spends an entire like 2 minutes of his show reading off all of his ads before he actually gets into the show or something like that. So
one thing a lot of people do is that instead of running ads that might be like unrelated to their interests, like I have like a lot of YouTubers that I follow that like do card games, and so they spend like the middle of their show just talking about like, oh, these are the products that we like, and they sponsor the show.
Yeah.
So if we have something like, oh, we really like this camera, or we really like this local sign shop, we can put the word out that way.
Yeah. So what the studying that I've been doing in the video that I sent you with the two real estate guys and the one guy talking about his ad revenue that was like eye-opening, like what that can do. So I mean, we're not trying to create content just for that. Like, we want to be valuable, we want to up everybody's game, but we feel like we want to have an opportunity to do that type of stuff too. So I just think that's very interesting. And I like, meet Kevin. He was talking about, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel. I've been debating doing this for years. Trying to collect equipment, get familiar with equipment, not like the equipment, get rid of it, like finding excuses to not actually get started. So no matter how raw this is, the studio setup, the stuttering, the tripping over words, maybe, we still need to get good equipment. And obviously we're going to outgrow this little space right here and have to do something. If we get 100 episodes deep and we're running ads and we're getting sponsorships and things like that, and we've got any influence about putting people in their place, then we're going to have to get some better type studio. But we were tired of talking about it, and we wanted to get started, and here it is. So today, August 5th, 2019, putting you in your place is a real thing, and we're going to continue to do it, and we hope you enjoy it. So I guess we'll just wrap it up there.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, man, I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
You guys, just so you know, he is very talented. I appreciate everything that you've done up to this point. Like, you are making a big impact for me, and I hope it's making a big impact for you. And like wherever this is going to take you, I know you're going to be successful. So I appreciate just a moment of your life here with me doing this is amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I could be working anywhere. I got friends working at McDonald's and that sort of thing, but instead I'm here doing video stuff, which is what I want to be doing. Yeah. So,
well, I'm glad that we can partner up on this and maybe make an impact. Yeah, cool. All right, guys.